Hi everyone, this is Sushant from Unity Devs. Welcome to our today's session, which is part 5, where we will understand how you can utilize accept expression and accept policy fields configurations in the batch processing. Okay, so guys, let's get started with these topics. Okay, so from the definition only, guys, of the accept expression, it is clear. So it is written here to process only records that evaluates to true. If the record evaluates to false, batch step skips that record and send it to the next one. In other words, the record with an accepted expression that resolves to false are the ones that Mule filters out. So it's a kind of filter or condition you want to put in the at batch step level, okay, to prevent any record from processing, okay, to apply some filter basically I can say, okay. And what is accept policy in batch? So it is written batch step to process only records relative to the value of accept policy attribute. If it evaluates to true, refer to the table for the list of available values for the accept policy. So guys, these are the available values of accept policy. No failures. What will happen in case of no failures? So it is written batch step processes only those records that succeeded to process in all the preceding steps. So let's say if batch step accept policy is no failure, so it will process only those records which are successful in all the preceding batch steps. Okay. What if accept policy is only failures? So guys, in that case, batch step process only those records that failed to process in preceding batch step. Okay. It will process only those records that failed in the previous batch step. Okay. Now what if accept policy is all? So in that case, batch step process all the records whether they are failed to process in the preceding batch step. Okay, it will process all the records. Okay, so guys, I have created some practical use cases in my Anypoint Studio. So let's see how it works. Okay, let me show you. So guys, this is the use case I have created. This is batch step 1, this is batch step 2. Okay, and at batch job component level, I have configured max field record as -1. It means it will process all the records. Okay, whether those records are failed or whether those records are successful. Okay, so batch processing will not stop. Okay, batch processing will not stop. It will process all, whether they are failed or whether they are successful. And batch block size is 1, you can see. So it means one record is allocated to one block. So in input I have 10 records, array of 10 elements. So it means one record is allocated to one block. So it means there are 10 blocks. Okay, and as we discussed previously in part 1, so based on the number of cores we have, so in my computer I have based on the number of cores I have 12 threads. So one thread will execute one record from each block at a time. So parallelly those 12 threads will execute 12 blocks, okay, parallelly. Okay, one record from each block. So because I have 10 blocks this time, because I have 10 records and batch block size is 1, so these 10 blocks will be executed parallelly by those 10 threads. Okay, okay guys, so in batch step 1, okay, by default it is no failures in first batch step, but in second batch step, how we want to process those records which has passed through batch step 1. So guys, let's say I have 10 records, okay, and out of those 10 records, one record fails and 9 records are successful. Okay, so do I want to process that failed record from batch step 2, or I want to process only successful records? Okay, so all those things will be determined by accept policy basically. So let's say if I want to process all the records regardless of whether they are failed through batch step 1. So in that case we used to choose accept policy as all. Okay, let's say if we want to process only successful records which were successful through batch step 1, in that case we chose no failures. Okay, and what if we want to process only failed records which were failed in batch step 1? In that case we chose accept policy as only failure, guys. Okay, so first time let me select it as all and see how it works. Let me save it. So the application has been deployed. Let me hit it. Okay guys, so one record has failed. Why it failed? Because when payload is equal to 2, we are trying to convert string into a number, which is not possible. Okay, and that's why we got the error that hey, you cannot coerce string to a number. That is impossible. So that's why you got the error. So if I resume it, and because in batch step 2 we have accept policy as all, so it means it will log all the records whether they are failed through batch step 1 or whether they are successful through batch step 1. So it will print like this, right? And batch step 1 will print like this. Okay, so guys, let me show you the console. Okay, so in batch step 2 you can see clearly the first record is printed, the second record is also printed, which was failed in batch step 1 in this batch step at transform message level. Okay, in this transform message it was failed, but even though regardless of that, batch step 2 processes that. You can see this log, and remaining records, those were all successful in the previous batch step, so those records were also logged. 10, 9, 8, 4, 3, 5, 7, 6. All the records are logged. Okay, so guys, I hope you understood this. So let me show you what if accept policy is no failures. So in this case, it will log only records which were successful in previous batch step. Okay, let me save it and deploy it. So guys, our application has been deployed. Let me hit it. Okay, so the second record fails, and in batch step 2 we have accept policy as no failures. So it will accept, it will log only successful records which were successful through batch step 1. So let me resume it. Okay, so if I go to the console, okay guys, so as you can see, in batch step 2 there is no log related to payload as 2. There is no log of payload as 2. Okay, so in batch step 2 you can see a log for 1. Okay, you can see a log for 3. You can see a log for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, but there is no log related to payload as 2 because that 2 was failed in previous batch step here. That's why because of this accept policy as no failures, it logged only successful records which were successful in preceding batch step. Okay, so guys, that's how it works. That's how accept policy as no failure works. Okay, so what if accept policy is only failures? Okay, so guys, in this case it will process only those records which were failed in the preceding batch steps. Okay, so guys, let me save it and deploy it. So guys, if I trigger this application again, so you can see that 2 has failed again. Okay, if I resume it, okay, so you can see guys, clearly you can see. So in batch step 1, okay, you can see the logs of all the records, okay, but in batch step 2 you can see only logs related to 2, payload 2, which was failed in the preceding batch step. So what we can conclude, in batch step 2 it processed only those records which got failed in the preceding batch step. If accept policy we select as only failures. Okay guys, so that's how guys this accept policy works. And what about accept expression? Let's move on to the accept expression also. Okay, so guys, let's say we don't want to process record number 5 in batch step 2. Okay, and let me select accept policy as all, that we want to process all the records regardless of whether they are filled in the preceding batch steps. And what if we want to process all the records but not 5? So there comes accept expression. So guys, in accept expression we can put some filter that hey, we don't want to process record number 5. Okay, so you can put condition like this guys, hash payload not equal to 5. Okay, if I save it, it will deploy it. So application has been deployed guys. So if I hit it, so in batch step 2 you will not see any logs related to payload as 5 because we have put accept expression as 5. Okay, so guys, everything is processed. Okay, so you can see clearly in batch step 2 we got log of 1, payload as 1, for 2, for 3, for 4, okay, for 6, for 7, for 8, for 9, for 10, but not for 5 because it has been filtered out with the help of accept expression. So guys, that's how accept expression and accept policy works. Okay, I hope you understood everything about these two fields, how we can configure those fields. Okay, if we got any use case or any work related to the batch processing. Okay, so thank you guys, I hope you understood. See you soon, bye.